and her today's subject is Sufficiency Economic Practices.
May I stand up and talk? Because this time is my excitement and nervous. Okay. The subject I'm going to share with you, because looking to the way I work, I have to make it really light and make it very colorful, because one of the issue of the sufficiency economy is people perceive it like something very high up, something that is more like it's a thinking and it cannot be practiced. Okay. But before I get into my presentation, let me share with you a bit about my background. I'm a brand consultant in Asia. I've been doing branding for the big corporation like SCG, PT, the leading conglomerate in Thailand, and also the branding for Thailand as a country. The more I practice the branding, corporate branding, I recognize that if we cannot link sufficiency economy with the business, we cannot save the world, or we cannot take a corporation go to the stage of sustainability. So I try to devote most of my time right now, try to share my thought, my experience about linking business and sufficiency economy philosophy together and how to make it happen. Okay. So my talk today will be what I believe that when we're talking about the sufficiency economy, it's actually a mindset, it's a thinking. It's not even like a key strategy, because to get to the point of the sustainability, each company can employ different strategy, but lacking of the right mindset, I don't think anyone can get into that journey. Let me share with you why I think so. Okay. This is the concept of the sustainable development, something that's very easy to demonstrate to the analogy of the three-legged chair. Right now, corporation, when they do the business, they got to think about 3P, right? Profit, people, planet. You cannot just responsible only for making money. Because right now, corporation cannot survive. It doesn't matter how much market share you make. If people don't love you, you will last. You have to make people love you, respect you, admire you. That's how the corporation can go on and be in the heart of the marketplace, in the heart of the people. Okay. So this concept of the SD. And what about the sufficiency economy? Dr. Sofia shared with you briefly about the model. I will take you to the model a bit in more detail. It's composed of three factors. The first factor is more like an inner self. It's about the first thing, self-reliance. He believes that people got to know yourself. You got to know who you are. You got to know how strong you are, how weak you are. You got to know your competency. You got to know everything about you. Otherwise, you cannot control yourself. The second one is about the reasonableness. He said that don't do anything just because your neighbor do it or somebody else do it. You just will follow what is the real you. And we have to make it very reasonable. Don't just do things without any reason. And the last thing about the inner factor is about self-immunity. Don't just do anything over yourself. If you want to go on with life, you have to make sure that you do everything within your limit. And when you're talking about the self-immunity, it's about future thinking. All of these are the factors that people got to think if they want to have like a longer, happy life. But he also said that only have like a inner factor, not enough. People got to be aware of what's going on. So knowledge is very important. But as many people know, knowledge is a weapon, right? Especially if the knowledge getting into the hand of the people without ethics. They could use knowledge to like beat up another people. They could use knowledge to just like take advantage of others. So along with the knowledge, the king say you got to have integrity. You got to have some kind like ethic, some of the moral, some kind like a good mind. All of these things will live life in the moderation. The reason that we say moderation because don't do anything too extreme. Don't be too reasonable, too rational. Don't be too rigid. Just do everything in the moderation. And moderation is something that really up to each individual person. Okay, that's why we call it philosophy. But all of these things will lead you to the keyword happiness. But actually, when I give lecture to my students or I give lecture to my clients, I prefer the other terms. I always use the term self-contentment instead of happiness. Because contentment is just like when you feel like I'm happy with this, I'm content with this. You feel like I have enough. Okay, so it's something that more insightful, at least in my perspective. This is the thinking of the sufficiency economy. And like Dr. Samgir say, the king say, this is just only like one step. All of these things relate with the word development. So when we say sufficiency economy, we didn't mean that you got to be self-reliance alone. You cannot just rely only on yourself. Commercial cannot happen. If people just go rice and eat rice and they just they stop buying, they stop trading. So he said that everything got to be like a step by step. Start from the people and then go up to the firm and go up to the larger scale. That's what the king mentioned. Okay. And if I want to share, like demonstrate his thinking, it's something like this picture. He said everything starts from yourself, personal, right? And right now you cannot just only think about yourself. You have to think about your community, your children, your neighbor. And after you think about your communities, you go beyond that. You think about the world. Okay. This is the meaning of like a step by step and the progressive of the circle. When people start taking good care of the personal, it's a way to build what we call self-reliance. And once they start sharing it to the community, they start to create what we call social strength. And at the end, when they start to share it and do more than just a community, do something to the world, then we come to the word sustainable development. Because when you're talking about the real meaning of sustainable development, it's not only about sustainable growth. It's not about social development. It's not about social capital. Not only the cooperation. Cooperation is like a side effect of the whole process. But right now, all of the big brand, all of the corporation, got to think like this. This is how the movement of the world is going on right now. How to apply this philosophy into this sustainable development thinking. We say that right now, people got to have enough. Actually, the better term than sufficiency make it easier to understand is the word enough. Right? It's all about enough economy. And when we say enough, it doesn't mean enough is enough. He said to have enough. So it's very positive thinking. He didn't say that, oh, you should live on a very humble life. He said, let's have enough. And what's mean by have enough? Have enough for your needs first. Look after yourself, make yourself strong before you go on and help others. So you start to think like, I have to have enough for your need, your business, and then your societies. That's what the whole concept of sustainable development. So all of this thing, how can I apply it, this model to my business, or when I do the sustainable branding? Actually, all of this thing is very common when it comes to the business practice. But actually, old-fashioned, the term will just like stop us from growing or making any progress. But actually, all of this, once you apply it to the business concept, it's very common. When you're talking about the self-reliance, it's all about self-assessment. In all the business planning, you got to do a SWOT, right? You do a SWOT analysis before you do any strategy development. So self-reliance is all about self-assessment. SWOT analysis, develop the brand DNA. When you're talking about listen about this, the easy term is strategic management. Very simple. As simple as that. And what about self-immunity? It's all about risk management. When it comes to knowledge, every corporation practices it under the term learning organization. And for the integrity, you do it under the term good governance. So nothing in his teaching that outdate or go against globalization, because all of this terminology has been taught to the management student for many, many years. So our king is very smart. He put all of this together, and he said, if any business, anyone practice and understand this, not only got self-containment, you can lead it to the word responsible business. And at the end, you can get to the point of sustainable development. This is how I apply sufficiency economy to the business practice. Okay. But most of the time, even yesterday when I talked to the liberal, when you're talking about the businessman, the first thing that comes to their mind is competitiveness. When you're telling me that I should not compete with any other people, should I stop compete? Should I stop growing the market? That's the trend in the business world right now. For the competitiveness, you can either use something very simple, operational excellence, because that's the first requirement in doing the business. You can use TQM, you can use Six Sigma, cost leadership, differentiation, blue ocean, whatsoever. Any strategy that you think is applicable to your firm. That's how you employ or get to the point of competitive advantage. Okay? And for the sustainable development, you can use something called corporate citizen. Do something like a social contribution. You can use CSR. And right now, we didn't even use the word CSR anymore. You go up to the word CSV. You say that to make a sustainable development happen, to use CSR happen, you got to create shared knowledge, shared value. Without the shared value, no one will help you to do it. At the end of the day, maybe only your company will do it. So to make CSR sustain, you have to create something that called shared value. Or you can practice it under the new strategy that we call Marketing 3.0. Okay. All of these things, I believe that this won't happen. If you don't have the right mindset, right? Because mindset is very important. We can learn, you can read 10 textbooks, but if you don't have the right mindset to do it, you cannot make it happen. That's why when corporation practice CSR, they got to train employee to be CSR volunteer. Without that thinking, they will just do it like occasionally when they have a free time, but they don't do it with the real belief in it. Okay. So this is how I see the whole thing relate and link together. Okay. But again, like I mentioned, even though we can use this at the individual level, competitiveness at the firm level, and sustainable development at the world level. Still, we still need a lot of input, a lot of debating, a lot of discussion whether this is real or not. Is this a real practical in the modern world right now? That's why we're very happy that when we have an audience and it's a mixed audience, come from a diverse or come from a different perspective. After this session, if you have a question that you want to share, you want to challenge, that's how to make this thing better. Okay. The key say, sufficiency economy can apply to at the individual, at the firm, and also at the nation. So I share with you in a very quick and briefly three cases that demonstrate all of these applications. The first one is One Right, One Set. Okay. One Right, One Set is an attempt of the government that they try to help the Thai farmer. You may heard that lately the Thai farmer has a very issue. We get into the crisis. So the government feel like if we cannot change the mindset of the Thai farmer, they will practice it the same way. They will just grow rice, one crop, for 3 months, less, get lazy for 8 months. They got nothing to do because they feel like, oh, I have to wait for the rain, I have to wait for the water, I have to wait for this and that. I know only how to grow rice. I won't do anything else. So the government, in cooperation with the Thai Chamber of Commerce, come up with this concept. Try to teach the Thai farmer about productivity. Apply the thinking of the king about the new agriculture that Thai farmer. Actually, the detail of this you can read more detail as an exhibition. Okay, we have an exhibition in that room and also in this room. You can go and read to get into more detail. It's just the repeat information in the exhibition. Okay. Another project that relates to something more on the business side is Laukaikul. Laukaikul is a Princess Mother project. This project is in Chiang Rai, up north of Thailand. Before Princess Mother lived there, that's how it looked. The Hill tribe people just grew opium and ruined everything. But the Princess Mother said that I got to change this. Security for their lives so they can stop growing the opium, so they can do something better. Right now, this is a look of Laukaikul. It's all green. Okay. This project starts from community development, but actually, what really made this project successful is a brand called Laukaikul. This is one of the best social enterprise business in Thailand. The foundation came up with a brand named Laukaikul. And Laukaikul right now is one of the very famous coffee shop, cafe, and also like a handicraft. It's how to show that once you apply sufficiency economy in the right way, you can create something like a value creation. And this is exactly how Starbucks doing business. But the difference is the profit that Laukaikul gain from the coffee, we return it to the Hill tribe people. That's why we call the social enterprise business model. The last one is a case that we apply sufficiency economy to the individual. This is a case of Janton restaurant. This guy, Mr. Grit, he's a good friend of mine. Okay. He used to work for advertising agency. Used to be very, very popular, very urban lifestyle. He lived in Jantaburi, outskirts from Bangkok, like 2 hours driving from Bangkok to Jantaburi. After 20 years of working in advertising agency, he feel like it's about time for me to go back home. I have a family business. It's about time for me to do something in return to my community. So he quit advertising job. When he is up like a very high position, he just quit his job and returned back to Jantaburi. And he recreate, renovate his restaurant. It used to be like a very old-fashioned restaurant. This is how he applied sufficiency economy into his thinking. He said that I still have to be concerned with the profit. I got to be survive. I got to make sure that my business is doing well. So he focused on the value and the volume. But he not only just making money. He said, I got to do things with the reasonableness, with some strategic thinking. I have to use what I call integration into the business. He feel like I cannot just rely only on the restaurant business. So he started to expand his business into the bakery, expand his business into too many things. Because he wants to make sure that if the restaurant doesn't do well, he still have some other income, some other way to help support his family. He called this integration. The last one, he said that I cannot just go back home and acting like I'm very modern lifestyle, I'm very popular, but ignore the local people. I have to make sure that everyone in that province love me. So I got to show them the local respect. If I'm going to grow, if I'm going to be famous, I won't do it alone. I have to do it the whole platform. The community, my friends, my neighbor, got to get into the same journey, got to go into the same successful journey. So he just shared it with his local people. But he never forget about ethics and knowledge. Okay. He never feel like, oh, I'm advertising business, so I know better. So I'm going to go and negotiate to get the very cheap price from the farmer or from the gardener. He become very fair. And he never stopped learning. He always joined the training, learn from the older, learn how to do the modern bakery, not just only the Thai food. This is the very simple case that the Dr. Sopkir said that every single people can use sufficiency economy. He use it. And right now, we at the foundation, we expect that in each province in Thailand, if we can create one champion like this, the king's thinking can be spread out. The king's thinking can help sustain many lives, give quality of life to the Thai people. For this case, you can see that he used sufficiency economy along with the creative economy. So sufficiency economy can combine with anything, can combine with productivities, can combine with the creative economy to create what we call better value. This is what I think, if I share with you some of the cases that I feel like that is a successful case, you can appreciate, you can understand the king thinking in a better way. Okay. The key concept that I want to leave the people in this room is economy is a process, actually. It is something that has to deal with the social relation. Economy is a livelihood. So when the king says sufficiency economy, it's not only about one single life, it's all about the society. It's all about how we can do it better and go together in the better way. This was sustainability. Okay. My highlight to say that ability is the ability to say, I have enough. Ability to say that I understand the word moderation. Ability to share. Don't you ever think that sharing is easy. Sharing is very difficult right now in this society, okay? The ability to understand the word justification, balancing, and also harmony. All of this ability, I believe that can come from sufficiency economy. My question is, do we believe in the power of enough. To say that I have enough is not easy, right? Because most of people feel like, oh, I need more. If we go to the buffet, I will just take it all. It's very difficult for people to say that I have enough. But if you cannot say I have enough, believe me, you won't be able to share it with anyone because you will only think about yourself. When you say I have enough, the immediate impact that you gain is the word freedom. And how could we teach our new generation? How could we reform the new professional? Because if on after graduate school, everyone still teach professional that we got to be the best. We got to be number one. The word sharing cannot be taken in a good way. And do we all have the right mindset? And what can we do together? And my last slide is to sum up with the king saying. This is his saying. People might forget about the past, but believe me, Thai people will never forget King Bhumibol. Thank you.